Hi friends, so it is the 4th of August and this is my first update for the Trope-ical Readathon. It's not going so well at the moment, so I started the month thinking that I would read the rest of Four Dead Queens by Astrid Scholte before I got into my challenge reads, but I only got about 50 more pages into it before I went, oh crap, my book club is meeting on Sunday to discuss the July book and I haven't actually read it yet. So I need to finish reading Children of Blood and Bone by Sunday. The rate I'm going, it may or may not happen. I'm at page 76. There are over 500 pages and I'm reading really slowly at the moment, so we'll see how that goes, I guess. Hey everyone, it is just after 9 PM on August the 11th. I did manage to finish Children of Blood and Bone in time for my book club meeting. I finished it literally Sunday morning and the meetup was Sunday night. Turned out two of the other members hadn't finished it yet, but they were kind of okay with spoilers, so we still talked about it. It was a good night, we had pizza, we had fun. I have now started Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. It's going a little bit slowly at the moment, but I'm hoping that it'll pick up. I'm not actually sure whether there's any actual horror or whether it's like just gothic, almost like gothic weirdness. So I'm hoping for actual horror. That's what I thought it was, and I'll be sad if it's not. And I've finally started, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I've got these little tags in there and they're like tiny sushi tags that a lady I work with brought back from Japan. So I finally found a use for those, which is fun. I'm just making little comments as I go. I have also started the audiobook of Ring of Bright Water by Gavin Maxwell, and that's really lovely. It's being read by a guy with a very soothing English accent, and he pronounces all the Scottish words correctly, which is not something I would have been able to do in my head if I was reading the physical book. So that's really nice. It's nice and soothing when I'm driving, and I've got a fair bit of driving coming up. So that's going to be good. I'm really enjoying that one. I'm looking forward to the arrival of the otters. Yeah. It is August 13th. I have finished Mexican Gothic today and it was a bit weird. I don't really want to say anything specific, but I don't know whether she was like subverting certain horror tropes. I don't read a lot of horror. I read this because it's by Silvia Moreno-Garcia and I loved her other books. And so I don't know whether she's like messing with the horror genre and doing interesting things with it, or whether the weirdness is just what it is and it's something that obviously works for a lot of people because this has a lot of 5-star reviews. But I didn't get it. I was just like, what? So that was disappointing because I was really looking forward to this one, and I have to say, like, 5 out of 5 for like the gothic atmospheric isolated atmosphere and the interesting characters, and some of them were truly awful, and how they all sort of fitted in together. But the plot itself, it lost me, gotta be honest. But that's okay, that happens. Next, I've decided to start on The Blood Countess, which is my book for the absent/dead parents trope. So I think I can do with a little bit of YA right now. So we'll see how this one goes. Oh, also I opened it earlier and discovered it's a signed copy. So that's pretty cool. At least I assume it's a real signature. Like, it looks like it's been hand drawn and not just printed on the page. I'm gonna assume that it's a genuine signature and not like a mass produced one. Hey guys, it's the 20th of August. I haven't done as much reading over the last week as I might have hoped. I started The Blood Countess, but I've sort of put it on hold and it may not end up getting finished this month. Instead, I have started None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney. Ellie is she is my favourite Australian young adult author. This is a proof of None Shall Sleep. I won it in a giveaway. It's all signed, which is pretty cool. I've actually won 2 signed books from Ellie now, so that's pretty exciting. This one's out on the 1st of September, so I wanted to read it and get a review up around that time, create some buzz. It's about two teenagers in the US in 1982 who are taken on by the behavioral science section at the FBI to work with imprisoned juvenile killers to try and profile them a bit more, but then they sort of get caught up in an active case and it all gets very exciting. I'm about halfway through that now, so I'm going to count this one towards the New Kid in Town prompt for the readathon because the two kids are in an unfamiliar environment. They're the first ones to be taken in this kind of new unit, juvenile killers unit thing. So that's what I'm doing with that one. Hopefully I'm going to get it finished in the next couple of days. After that, I'm not sure whether I'm going to read The Night Circus, which is the August book for Swell Publications book club, or whether I'm going to read The Toll, which I mentioned it in my TBR video. It's my one for the dystopia prompt. This is due back to the library on the 25th, so I should read it soon. But on the other hand, my library doesn't charge overdue fees anymore, so I could just hold on to it a bit longer. I've already renewed it once. I'm not sure if I can renew it again. So I'm just sort of tempted to hold on to that, and if I don't finish it before the end of the month, that's okay. But The Night Circus being a book club one, I do want to make sure I'm finished it before the catch-up for that. So that's probably going to be my next one. I'm going to count this towards the prompt, the Forbidden Romance prompt, since from what I remember when I listened to the audiobook a few years ago, the two adult magicians who are orchestrating everything, they don't want their apprentices falling in love, but guess what they do? So that's where I'm at the moment, and I can't believe that the month is already 2/3 over. Probably by the time I get those two read, that's going to be about it, and I haven't even managed to do my team challenges. Oh well, if I have time, maybe I'll read The Dry, but I don't think I'm going to have time. Such is life. It's the 26th of August now, so we're on the downhill run. I've just finished work. I thought I'd do a quick update sitting in the car before I lose all the light, because by the time I drive home it'll be dark. Then I'd have to set up lights and stuff, and that's really annoying. So last time I updated, I said I was going to read The Night Circus and then The Toll, and then I promptly started reading The Toll instead. So I think I'm about 250 pages into that, but then I realised that actually I really need to read The Night Circus because book club. So I'm currently at page 93, and I have read this before. So this is a reread, but it was a few years ago. So I've forgotten most of what happens, and it's a pleasure to be reading this again. It's so beautiful, but it's not a book you can rush through. You really need to take it all in and savor it. And so that's why I'm going slowly with it, and hopefully I'll have it read in time. We'll see how it goes. I'm also about 3.5 hours, a little bit less than 3.5 hours, I think, from the end of Ring of Brightwater. So I'm hoping I'll get that finished this month. The otter, Midge, has finally appeared. He appears about halfway through, and every description of him is completely adorable. Completely adorable. I did, however, make the mistake of looking up Gavin Maxwell's Wikipedia article, and so I know what fate befell Midge, and not entirely sure I want to hear that in the author's words. I think it's going to be completely heartbreaking. I'll have the tissues handy, I guess, and try not to listen to it while I'm driving. Well, we're back where it all started. It's August the 31st. In good news, I finished the audiobook of Ring of Brightwater by Gavin Maxwell today. I put the cover there. I never actually showed the cover in my previous video, so now you know. Fortunately, the death of Midge the Otter was not quite as heartbreaking as I was worried it might be. It was really obvious how much the death of Midge affected Gavin Maxwell. That was really clear. But I thought that was going to be the end of the book, basically, but he actually then, a couple of years later, or a year later or something, found a new otter pet and adopted her, and that was all lovely. So it all sort of came full circle and ended on a happy note, and so that made me happy. I've also, because of this book, spent an awful lot of time lately watching otter videos on YouTube rather than reading the other books that I still need to finish. Good job, Emily. So on that subject, I was wrong in my last estimate. I only made it to page 206 of the Toll. So I've still got like 300 pages to go. But I'll get there. When I'm sitting and reading it, it's pretty quick and I'm enjoying it. There's lots going on. So that will probably be one of the first ones I try to finish in September. As for the Night Circus, still going with that one too. I'm up to page 165. So what I really need to do is just sit down and really devote myself to it. As I said before, you can't rush through it. I don't know if this happens to anyone else. Like, I can be really, really enjoying a book, but if it's got a slow pace, if it's a slow moving one, I read it slowly. Doesn't matter how good it is. I can't tear through a slow paced book the way I can through a fast paced book. So those are the two that I'm still going with. They'll be my first ones to finish in September. As for the rest of the things that I finished during the month, I don't really need to do much of a wrap-up because you've just watched all the videos I've filmed throughout the last 31 days in the last 10-15 minutes. So you still remember. But just as a quick wrap-up, Children of Blood and Bone, I read it at the beginning of the month. I gave it 4 stars. I'm going to be reading the second book at some point. I do want to finish this story. It was a good story. Enjoyed the magic system. The romance was a bit young adultish, but it's a young adult book, so what was I expecting? Yeah, that's that one. Mexican Gothic was one of my most anticipated books this year, and it let me down. I'm really looking forward to hearing what my friends think of this one, whether they also thought it was weird, whether they were into it. But for me, the cover was the best bit. Sad times. But I think my favourite book of the month was None Shall Sleep by Ellie, Marney, which is officially released tomorrow, September the 1st. So get your hands on a copy if you like serial killers and murder mysteries and thrillers in your young adult fiction, because Ellie, Marney delivers once again. So that was my August and my Trope-ical readathon. I barely made a dint in the TBR that I set myself, but that's okay. That usually happens when I do readathons, so it's nothing exactly new. So I think I had 10 books or something like that on my TBR. I only managed to read 4, so it was a bit of a weird reading month. This isn't entirely unexpected. Oh well, and I think I had those 2 thick books that I haven't finished yet, so I got a few more pages towards my score with those ones, but they don't count towards what I finished. But so 4 books read, and if my maths is correct, between reading the team book, completing 4 of the prompts, and then the number of pages, I scored a total of 2,191 points, which is not massive. I was watching the Twitter feed for the Trope-ical readathon, and I was seeing posts like, I'm starting my 25th book for the readathon. I was like, wow. So we are not the same. But, I made my little contribution, and I'm happy with that. For September, obviously I've got those books that I need to finish, and I'm in the middle of an ebook as well. But my plan is to only read Australian books in September, and to that end, I actually sort of started a mini readathon myself, mostly on Twitter with a few friends. We're calling it Oz Reads Sept as a hashtag Oz Reads Sept. And yeah, literally the only rule is read Australian books. Yay! So I've got my TBR here. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen that. I posted a photo and a bit about the readathon. And I'll do another video in the next few days talking a little bit more about that and what I'm aiming to get out of it. So yeah, that will be the next one, and I hope to see you there. It's been good to get back into vlogging this month, and I'm hoping to stick around a bit, so I shall see you later. Bye!